It's Madden NFL 23 on EA Sports. And coming up, it'll be no holds barred between AFC North rivals. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Next on EA Sports.
From the banks of the Ohio River, there's a look at Paul Brown Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on tap between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, everybody, alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, when you and I were going through our final run-throughs at breakfast, we kept thinking tonight we're going to get to see a couple of very good passing offenses.
And we're talking about both sides having multiple receivers that could have an impact on this game. It's not just one guy that's going to make all the plays. If you take him away, maybe number 2, number 3, they make the big plays that impact who wins the game.
McPherson about ready to get this going as we are underway now from Paul Brown Stadium. And this will go as a touchback, and they will begin things at the 25. Here come the Steelers for the first time in this game with their free agent signing at quarterback, the former number 2 overall pick, Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky is getting his second chance to start in the NFL and will be with another storied franchise, this time the Pittsburgh Steelers. He slowly fell out of favor in Chicago after making a Pro Bowl in his second season. But what a lot of people don't realize is that he had a winning record as a starter in each of his last 3 years with the Bears. He convinced a lot of people as a backup in Buffalo, including Pittsburgh, that there's still something to be unlocked in him as a starter.
They turn to Harris to begin the drive. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Here's Trubisky. Setting up the screen. And right away, he lost the football. And the Bengals grab it. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolded.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've comped it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
Cincinnati's offense takes the field, and leading the way for the reigning AFC champs is last season's comeback player of the year, a man who needs no introduction, Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow could have won comeback player of the year last season simply for his statistics. 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns through the air. But he brought the entire Bengal organization on a comeback after 5 straight losing seasons. First with a division title, then an unexpected AFC title, and led the team to their 3rd Super Bowl ever. And he had them less than 2 minutes away from winning it for the first time. Keep an eye on Joey B. He expects to bring a Super Bowl title to Cincinnati in the near future.
Well, that is a running back who is not about to go down easily. He fought his way through the contact until the seas opened up for him.
Yeah, and this could be a sign of what this defense is in for, because, you know, all week long the coaches were preaching to the defense, you've got to be able to wrap up against a back like him, or he can make you pay. Technique, technique, technique.
And the next-gen stats shows us the tale of how much yardage he was able to pick up after the initial contact. Back to Mixon on 2nd down.
2nd and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on 3rd down and pick up the 1st down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the 1st down. That's exactly what they did.
On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. That'll wind up as a loss on the play, so now they're staring at a 3rd down and 12.
Well, that play was over before it even got started. Thanks for nothing, huh? How about that? That sets up a very difficult 3rd down call now.
The last 2 plays each lose a yard. They'll try to move forward here on 3rd and 12. Out of the gun, it's Burrow. He completes it to Boyd. And he's not going to sniff the first down here. He stopped at the 25. 2 yards on the pickup there. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go and make the tackle right away.
So on 4th down, off goes Burrow. On comes Evan McPherson for the Bengal field goal. McPherson's kick is good. And the Bengals are on the board first here. It's 3-0. So the defense are able to force their first turnover of the game, and then they add on to that by getting the field goal.
And you don't just want to take the ball away from your opponent, partner. You want to make them hurt as well. And if you don't score yourself on defense, turn it over to your offense and have them put points on the board.
Olszewski going to hold on to this one. Touchback. Najee Harris and the rest of this offense work their way back onto the field. He's got to clear his mind a little bit right now. 1 carry, and that carry was a lost fumble.
Clear his mind, clear his hands, and just let this one go. Sometimes it happens. You drop the ball, got a full game ahead of him, hand it to him again, see if they can start to produce.
They go play action. Trubisky. That's swung out one. And he loses the football a second time. And the Bengals grab it. Room here to run. And they will be set up now as he brings this thing all the way back inside the 20.
Okay, after those first 2 drives, I think as a head coach is going to be calling for CSI. They're going to want some forensics on this. What is going on with this ball club? Unable to hold on to the football and take care of it.
Yeah, 2 straight fumbles for them to start out.
Yeah, you would think that this team would come in ready to go. Sometimes just mentally not prepared, and it shows up in these types of plays.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Here's Burrow setting up to throw it. And that is caught, but the back judge right there to say incomplete. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. They're looking for Higgins, but it is intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Miles Jack. And the Steelers are going to have it here just past the 25.
And as we've seen, points have been precious so far, and they just threw some away on that snap. And look, let's face it, as we advance further into this game, that play will be on the minds of everyone who's watching it. They wonder if this is the turning point. Is this the spot where those points were given away and could cost them a ball game?
The Steeler offense here about ready for their next drive. And job 1 here, Charles, just keep possession of football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right.
And oh my goodness, he loses it again. And the Bengals grab it. A beautiful fake. And this is taken into the end zone. A fumble recovery and a Cincinnati touchdown. Even the great ones, some of the best, they're not immune to the fumble, and here it really hurts them.
If the ball gets away from any runner's body, that's when the defense pokes at it, swipes at it, swats at it, and finds a way to create a big play for themselves.
Evan McPherson for the extra point. He's got it, and now it's a 10-0 lead here in the opening quarter. 10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter from Cincinnati. It's the Bengals with the football here. Here's McPherson now to send it away. Olszewski going to hold on to this one. Touchback. Here comes the Pittsburgh Steelers and running back Najee Harris. And for him, it's been pretty limited involvement down on the scoreboard. Maybe time to turn to this guy.
And you know me well. Winning games to me means starting with the running game and continuing to press the running game. Maybe you go away from him a little bit now, but the bottom line is he hasn't touched it enough to make a difference.
They haven't established that running game yet. The question is, will they? And a tackle there by Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. From the shotgun is Trubisky. That ball caught by the former Toledo Rocket, Deontay Johnson. So 8 yards on the completion there, and that'll leave him with a 3rd and just a yard. Now Trubisky. And this one is incomplete.
Based on what we've seen so far, I don't think you can even call this an off day anymore, partner, because this group we're watching, they are totally out of rhythm, trying to get their game plan up and running. That 0 on the scoreboard is glaring down at them with every incompletion.
And he'll have this past the 30 prior to going out of bounds. And nice work on the return as he gets about 15 yards back. And the Bengals will take over here 1st and 10.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32.
Now, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
The Steelers now in the nickel here on 3rd down.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
On the delay, it's Mixon. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. 10 yards there on a Bengal 1st.
I definitely like the play call. You don't expect it on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, do you? You expect a pass play. Had a little courage there to call the run, and boy, they were successful.
Here we go.
Now Burrow on 1st down. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on. This is caught inside the 15. And he's going to be shoved out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. A big play there for Cincinnati. 43 yards.
We always talk about the guy who paid off the play, don't we? The guy who caught it or ran it. But how about the elements that go into making a big play? This one in particular, able to scan the field, pocket held up nicely. What a terrific job by the offensive line. The route, well run, and the football, right on the money.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Certainly appeared to take away his first read, and by the time he tried to look elsewhere and find an open target, the coverage was too good. That one falls incomplete.
On 3rd down, Burrow. He gets this one to Boyd. Now the Steelers use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. So on 4th down, off goes Burrow. On comes Evan McPherson for the Bengal field goal. McPherson's kick is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So 3 points there, and they continue to build this first half lead.
Yeah, every little bit helps, and the more that you can put together drives and start controlling the tempo, controlling possession, finishing with points, the better off you're going to be.
So after the made field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away. Olszewski going to hold on to this one. Touchback. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field.
And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now it's Trubisky. Completing it to the right side. Johnson. He's at the 30. 10. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Deontay Johnson. 76 yards.
And the Steelers get a late score here in the final minute of the first half.
The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take it to the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed, and a lot of football, full half to be played. Boswell now to kick it away after the touchdown.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. The Bengals going to take over late in this first half.
And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead.
Here we go.
But a mistake there, that could change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
The lane opens up that time as he'll be brought down just short of a first after a gain of about 9.
There's so many definitions of a complete back. I think most people think a guy who can block, a guy who can catch, and a guy who can run. But how about when you put it all together as a runner and you can fake people out, you can be shifty, and also run with some power and break tackles, as we just saw on that pickup.
Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Minka Fitzpatrick. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
Certainly feels like the classic second guess, but let's be honest about it. They had a chance going to halftime with the lead. Why did they take a chance with a throw there? I don't understand that.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. And now this defense has to try to protect that lead going into the locker room. After the interception, here's Trubisky. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. But it looked like the Steelers were able to recover, and they will indeed hold on to the ball. So on second down, the field goal unit is on here as they try to get 3 before half. On the right hash, officially this will be a 51-yard attempt. Boswell's kick is good, and that will cut the lead back down to 3 at 13-10.
So they get the turnover in plus territory. The drive stalls out, but still able to get 3 out of that.
Yeah, we were able to see an offense and a defense kind of mix and match with each other, didn't we? Both of them trying to make sure that they had the upper hand and the advantage. Offense trying to get to the end zone. Defense, of course, trying to hold them to a field goal attempt. And it wasn't a guaranteed lock 3 from where they started. So, you know, the offense has to be happy to come away with those 3 points.
The Cincy offense about ready to go here on their next drive. They're just going to run it here up the middle. And he's going to lose yardage. Not that it matters as the final seconds tick away. So we've reached halftime here in the Queen City, and it's the Bengals leading this one. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, BG, thanks very much. And welcome one and all to our beautiful new downtown Orlando studios for this EA Sports Halftime Report. First up, though, let's take a look at the next-gen stats from the first half for the Steelers. And the rushing numbers should tell the story of why they trail at the half. They're still in single digits in yardage as a team through 2 quarters of play. That's not good. These two teams making their final adjustments for the second half. And to bring it your way, we go back up to Cincinnati and Brandon Gott.
Okay, Coach, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Taking it about the 1. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. The Bengal offense now with a football first here to begin quarter number 3. And despite the turnovers, Charles, and they had multiple in that first half, they still have the lead as they begin this third quarter.
And they probably heard some conflicting tones at the half, don't you think? A lot of praise for what they did to get this lead, but also a little bit of scolding because they got to take better care of the football in the second half. But you and I both know the great leaders, they know how to give that little bit of vinegar in there and cover it with a big dose of honey. We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
On 1, ready?
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Once again, they run with Mixon. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 51 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Here we go, here we go.
Mixon with a first down carry. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at second down.
At the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back there and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2.
He's got a man, complete. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A gain there of 30 big ones.
They came out with an aggressive mindset to start the third quarter, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them take more of these type of deep shots as this game moves along. They connected there. They expect to connect on more before this one's over.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And that's caught one more time by Boyd. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that'll bring up second down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
7 yards on the pickup there, and now they'll have it 1st and goal. They'll give it to Mixon. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. So the scoring dried up here in the third. Nothing that quarter for either side. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Cincinnati. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. Just a field goal. And he takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. Joe Mixon. It's a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Bengals are able to build on to their 4th quarter lead. But that makes this a 2-score ball game, and you know the way this thing has been going, Charles, 2 scores kind of feels like 3 or 4 scores.
Yeah, that's a great observation. It's been a heck of a battle, hasn't it? And points have been at a premium throughout this game. So you have to wonder, is this going to be too much for them to overcome?
McPherson now for the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. So that drive consumes 9 plays all total. And it all culminated in the touchdown run coming from Joe Mixon. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. Olszewski going to hold on to this one. Touchback. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field.
Well, that last touchdown we just saw, what an important one. Now it's back to a 2-score deficit for this crew as they take the field here, and they are in desperate need of finding the end zone. 1st and 10 here for Trubisky and the Steelers at their 25-yard line. Here's Trubisky to throw. Now Trubisky lost the football. And fortunately for him, he's able to get it back, but it will be a loss on the play. Fortunate to get that football back, because trailing here in the second half, last thing they needed was to lose the possession.
And the word I think of here is opportunity, because it could have been lost there, their chance to score points. But the opportunity for the defense was to go ahead and really close this game down if they were able to get possession.
So they keep the ball, but work to do on 2nd and long. Another try after the first down sack. Trubisky. Harris has it over the... Oh, he put it on the carpet, a fumble. And the Bengals have recovered it. Always costly to cough up that football. These defenders, they become so adept, though, at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there aren't more fumbles caused, because now, if you're an offensive player, you go through ball security drills every single day. It's really not out of line to think you should take the ball to bed with you and just hold on to it. But the bottom line is, no matter how much you try to protect it, these guys are pretty good at finding ways to knock it out.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Now Burrow. A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating the defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
And he's going to be taken down short of the first, right around the 15-yard line. And he's just short. He got 6 of the 7 he needed, so that leaves a decision here on 4th and a yard.
That was a good forceful run, and it demonstrates why you've got to put your body on a runner when you're trying to tackle him. If you just go in there and just try and get him down with arm tackles, it usually doesn't work very well, and we saw on that play, he'll run right through those attempted plays.
They opt to go for it, and they get it. 1st and goal after a pickup of 5. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset.
Here we go.
They've got it 1st and goal in a game that appears to have already been decided. Burrow going to give this to Mixon. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. So fresh out of the 2-minute warning, and here's another timeout taken with 1:55 remaining. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. And he'll take this into the end zone for Bengal TD. Joe Mixon with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Bengals are an extra point away from making this a 3-score game. What a huge touchdown that was, obviously, here in the late stages of the 4th quarter as they try to put this one away.
And, Brandon, when they watch the film after this week, they'll be very proud of every rep if they close this game out. Just a few snaps remaining. They can't relax just yet.
And McPherson on for the extra point. And that'll make this a 3-score game as the lead moves to 17. A drive that time of 6 plays, and it all culminated in the touchdown run coming from Joe Mixon. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. Taken in at the 3. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. Pittsburgh's offense now heading back out onto the field. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Trubisky to throw again. That's reeled in by Claypool. What a catch. And he's got another first down as the tackle's going to be made at the Bengals' 17-yard line. Throwing here, Trubisky. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Eli Apple. And the Bengals are going to have the football at their own 1-yard line. Well, field goals probably aren't going to cut it at this point. This was touchdown or bust, and unfortunately for them, it turned out to be bust.
Yeah, they're feeling like they've got to force the issue here. Maybe take some chances they wouldn't have earlier in the game. But give credit to this defense. They've really stood tall throughout, and they come up with the interception in the end zone.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field.
And they've got to be feeling very comfortable and confident here with this lead in the football here in the fourth quarter, Charles. And I don't think that they need to score again, but it seems like this offense is just getting better as the game goes on. They've scored on their last 2 drives.
Certainly feels like a chance for them to continue to have some fun out there, doesn't it? Game's already decided, as you noted, so they can continue to play loose, break out some other concepts, maybe run a few trick plays, get other people involved. Heck, even go deep on one of these first snaps just because they can.
So this one in the win column now for the Cincinnati Bengals. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.